Hey guys, this is Chris here once again from Critters Rehatched, back with another update on my Critters movie collection, my entire collection. And I decided to do another video, and this one's going to be on soundtracks. I don't own every single soundtrack, and not all soundtracks for every film was released. So let's go through and talk about some of these and see which ones that I have to show off. So let's go ahead and start with the early releases, which is going to be cassette tapes. And I have the Critters soundtrack here on cassette tape, and open it up, and we have the tape itself, which is just a generic, cassette tape there. And on the inside, it does have some photos and a little bit of information about the, what songs are on it and stuff here. And the thing about the soundtrack here is the cassette tape has Power of the Night on it, and so does the vinyl soundtrack, but the CD does not. For some reason, the CD did not have Power of the Night, but this cassette soundtrack, and so does the vinyl, which I'll discuss here in a little bit. But that was the first Critters movie on soundtrack. And next we're going to move on to what came after that, which is going to be vinyl records. The first Critters movie here. Oh, well, let's go back. Let's jump back. I don't have the cassette soundtrack for Critters 2. I do know that it is really hard to find, but I do have one that I'm looking at right now, which I want to get. I just don't have any money for it at the moment. So I will be trying to get that pretty soon. But at the moment, I do not have the soundtrack to the second one on cassette tape yet. So let's go ahead and get started on the vinyl records here, which is the first Critters soundtrack. And the back here. And like I was saying earlier, yes, this one also has Power of the Night on it as well. With Critter Skitter theme as well. This is a really good soundtrack. If you ever get a chance to listen to it, it's really, really good music. And David Newman is the guy who did the music for it, did the score for it. And he did a fantastic job with the score. Nicholas Pike did the soundtrack to Part 2, and this one is the, almost said Laserdisc, this one is the soundtrack on vinyl record for Critters 2. And the one thing that I don't like about the soundtrack for Critters 2 is, as far as I know, it does not contain the song Hungry Heifer, which is the theme that is sung by Cynthia Garris at for like the restaurant, the burger joint or whatever, that is in the halfway through the movie, just a little tiny thing, and then at the very end of the movie as well, it's sung. And I always really enjoyed that. I thought it was really fun and cheesy. And you can find it online. I posted it up on Critters Rehatched YouTube page. But here's the vinyl soundtrack for Critters 2, and take that out and see that one as well. And next up, we're going to jump into the CDs. But first off, I'm going to say they never released any soundtrack for them in any format for Critters 3 or Critters 4. It's only been the first two movies that ever had any type of soundtrack releasing. Next up, we're going into for CDs is going to be the first Critters movie. Most of the cases for these are very similar and the same. And then here's the back. This one always intrigued me because it shows the puppet, the critter puppet here with the cord and everything, and I don't know why they didn't, edit those out for it. It just seems kind of odd that they would use that image for the soundtrack. And this one contains a Critter Skitter theme as well on here, which is really cool. I always enjoyed it. This music is really good, done by David Newman. There is the back of the insert. And in the information here just tells about the film itself, and about the CD, and about David Newman. I have read this. These are interesting to see. I always read anything I can about these. This is always really cool. And then the disc itself. And next we're going to move on to Critters 2 on CD. We have the same image that's used a lot of times you see for Critters 2. And then we have the back here. I always enjoyed that little image right there. And like I said, this one does not include the Power of the Night song, and that's a shame because the soundtrack is really, really good. Nicholas Pike did a really good job on the instrumental music for this. It's amazing. I think this music is just absolutely wonderful to listen to. I just wish that Power of the Night would have been available on the CD itself. The only way you can find it is either go on YouTube or find rips of the vinyl record or the cassette tape. And then on the inside here, it does have another insert. There's the back of the insert. And then the inside of it here is about the same way the first one was, with information about the songs and information about Critters 2 a little bit, and Nicholas Pike. So that is the inside of those. And the CD, what the actual CD looks like, very similar to the first CD. Now, I have talked with the guy who did the soundtrack for Critters 3, and I believe his name is David Williams. David Williams is the guy who did the soundtrack to Critters 3, and it's never had a release before, but he said that he was working on trying to get an actual release done for like iTunes and digital downloads and stuff. And that was about 1.5 years ago, and he kept telling me to contact him in the future for a few months, and he would work on it, and he would let me know. So I did. After a few months of contacting him, he said nothing and moved forward yet. Waited about 4 more months, nothing and moved forward yet. And then I waited about a year. And then I got in contact with him, and he said that no, nothing has come in to do that, anything at all. So I kind of gave up on whether or not that the soundtrack to Critters 3 is ever going to be released. But I'm going to get in touch with him very soon, and I'm going to see if maybe he can get me some type of copy of Critters 3 soundtrack. And hopefully, if so, I'll do an update and let you guys know where you can get it from if it ever comes through. But that guys, is my my Critters soundtrack collection. That is 1 and 2 on cassette tape, vinyl record, and CD. And like I said, I don't own... The only soundtrack that I'm missing that was released is the cassette soundtrack for Critters 2. That's the only one that I need to complete my full collection. And like I said, I am looking at getting one pretty soon. And hopefully I can. Thanks guys for watching. I'll be back with another update very soon. See ya.